Alrighty, people. Week
How we
11.
doing?
Another
Bulk it up.
day, another week, another month to dream. All right, let's dream big. Let's dream big together today. Lots to talk about. Obviously, we've got some injury updates that we will discuss, things that will impact week 11 of the fantasy football season. But we are here with you, and we're going to be riding with you for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. We'll see how long the stream goes. We appreciate you all for being here. If you do want to prioritize your questions, there's a pinned link in the chat, which is the best place to do so. You'll see actually here, people have their questions lined up over on the Flock Fantasy website. We'll just say this now before we get into the rest of the stream. And we've been saying this for a couple months now, but just so you guys are aware, anytime there are questions on the website, that is where we will start first, okay? So just be aware of that. We've said that, pretty much since week 3 or 4, but anytime there are questions on the site, they will be prioritized over any other questions. So if you want to prioritize yourself, go over to the website and get that thing done. But let's start off with some news, shall we? Because there is some important updates. Let's just go to Underdog. I feel like that's the best place with
Underdog.
news. So, all right. So first off, CeeDee Lamb, had a back injury that popped up a little bit out of nowhere.
Yep.
And McCarthy says it's not of a high concern. That leads us to believe that he'll play. This is a Monday Night Football game. So I've already been a little bit hesitant on CeeDee Lamb myself this week. He's not a top 20 ranked receiver in my rankings. He's more top 24 range. I think there are a lot of names I would start over him. I think for me, the concern had nothing to do with an injury. It had everything to do with the offense and them, having their lowest passing outage since 2001. So, I'm going to play Courtland Sutton over him. If I have Courtland Sutton, I'd play Calvin Ridley over him, Cedric Tillman, Jaden Reed, T. Higgins. That's kind of like my baseline. I'm trying to decide between CeeDee Lamb and like a Darnell Mooney right now.
I think, look, early in the week, I've kind of been on the opposite side where, like, if CeeDee's going to play, even without this injury, before this injury, I was going to be starting him with confidence. Let me rephrase that. Not with confidence, but saying, hey, it's CeeDee Lamb. I'm going to trust in him. I think he's only talking on this team. He's going to be getting the ball, et cetera, et cetera. But the fact that he pops up on the injury list a little bit later in the week, it is a Monday night game, so he does have, or it's Sunday night game, if I'm not mistaken, or Monday night or Sunday night. I am a little bit more hesitant to start him now with now, we just don't know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah,
like, is he then limited? Is he then
exactly? Might be something that leads all the way up to Monday Night Football. If you have like adjacent options, I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. I really don't think there's actually that big of news to talk about outside of that. Tank Bigsby's out, but that doesn't matter. Jaylen Warren is questionable. They elevated another running back, which is disappointing. I thought this could have been a huge Jaylen Warren game. We'll have to wait and see. I don't think there's anything else to really talk about. So why don't we go ahead and get to the questions through the website? Do us a favor, hit that like button to show some love. As far as CeeDee Lamb goes, let's just clarify. You can play him. We're not saying you sit him, but there are plenty of people in smaller formats that will have better options.
Yeah,
so that's going to be up to your roster. Do us a favor, hit that like button. Got a like goal today of 50 likes. We appreciate y'all for being here with us. And let's start off with these questions on the website. Like we said, if you submit a question to the site, it will be prioritized first. And the first one waiting there is It's Dev. It's a trade question. They say week 14 bye, I will almost have no one, and I can relate to that. Do I take the trade for potential winning that week or take the L and hold on for a playoff schedule? So there's a lot of questions at stake here. So for my first question is, if you're already going to make the playoffs, I wouldn't focus too much on week 14. Like, for example, in the Flock League, Badaki, I'm in the playoffs pretty much guaranteed. We'll see. I mean, I could really mess up here, but I am 8-2. I could drop to second this week. I have a lot of people on bye, and I'm facing you in week 14. And I'll show you guys what my team looks like in week 14. It's actually kind of funny. Derrick Henry's on bye. Johnny Taylor's on bye. Terry McLaurin's on bye. Joe Mixon's on bye. So I can definitely relate to the week 14 questions. And this is like how many years in a row where we're begging the NFL, please stop putting all the bye weeks in week 14. Please stop doing that. They don't care. They keep doing it. But the reason I'm talking about my league is because I'm 8-2. I'm not going to make a trade based around week 14 just to avoid that week, you know. So that's my feeling here. However, I feel like these are pretty evenly valued names between like Marvin and T, but the question is JT and Chase and Hopkins. So I think I stick with this side of JT and Marvin, but it's closer than it appears.
Yeah, I agree. I'm still sticking with JT and Marvin. I think if you are maybe a 5-5 team or a 4-6 team, and you're just really trying to make the playoffs, and you know that week 14 bye is going to be crucial for your team, then maybe this is a trade you do. But at the same time, this is kind of risky, right? T. Higgins is coming back. What if he doesn't re-aggravate that injury? I mean, that's essentially what we saw. He played 2 or 3 games, got re-aggravated. I think
Juju's
Chase
back.
Brown
It'll be interesting to see what Juju's role is.
Juju is back. I feel pretty safe with Chase Brown, and then DeAndre Hopkins. I think he is going to still be DeAndre Hopkins, but he's not going to be DeAndre Hopkins we know and love. Don't expect that 20 plus point game from him on a weekly basis.
He'll be more boom bust, I think.
Yeah, so just I think this is a risky trade, but it might be an important trade for you for week 14. So I can definitely understand the narrative there.
Yeah. I think, again, if you need to make playoffs and you think week 14 could be the reason you don't, then you make the trade. If you know you're going to make playoffs, then you just keep the best players on your team. But I also wanted to give you a free trade voucher to come back and use at some point because you added a pretty significant tip on top of your question. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the love.
Yeah, huge love, man. Thank you so much.
Go ahead with the next one here.
Puka. Appreciate you. He says, I've also been offered Tillman for Waddle, not sure. All right, so let's hit this lineup and see what we're working with. So you got Bo Nix, Bijan Robinson, J.K. Dobbins here. It looks like you have Alexander Madison and Najee, who we will both be starting those 2 running backs over. You start Puka Nacua at the wide receiver, considering Zay Flowers or Deebo Samuel here. For me, this will be Deebo Samuel.
I think we'll probably end up starting both of them because of the flex spot.
Yeah, most likely. I'm going to be starting Zay Flowers there.
My question to you is, would you start Waddle or Najee? I think that's really the question with this lineup this week.
I'm starting Waddle. I think we saw a good little uptick from him last week. This is an important game still. They're playing against the Raiders at home. I'm still going Waddle. And we kind of saw that. I mean, he didn't have the crazy game I was hoping for, but he definitely had a better game, and we saw him getting targeted and utilized early and often, which is exactly what I was hoping for. Last week, he didn't give you the 15 points that we were 12 to 15 points we were hoping for. He was really got you 9 points. So yeah, I'm going Waddle.
I'll say this: I think if you need more safety, I think Najee's a better play, especially if Jaylen Warren is not going to play. That could be really beneficial for him. If there's no Warren, I would go ahead and say Najee actually. But if Warren plays and you need upside, I think Waddle's a fine option there to keep in. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the question. The next is a trade question from Silas Green. It says 9-1. What can I do to secure the team a playoff run? So you send away a Puka and an Njoku for a Justin Jefferson. You know, funnily enough, these are both guys where, like Puka Nacua and Justin Jefferson, they're both guys that have really bad playoff schedules. But they're both superstars, right? Jefferson has Chicago in week 15, which is one of the worst matchups. Then Seattle and Green Bay. You know, when you face Green Bay, you're going to have like Jari Alexander for the most part. I don't know if he was healthy last time they played Green Bay, by the way. And then on the other side, you got Puka Nacua, who has San Francisco in week 15, the Jets in week 16, and then 17 is the first good matchup versus the Cardinals. But these are like superstars. These are guys that you don't really overthink matchups about. So overall, I think, I mean, who's his tight end right now? I'll probably just go Jefferson.
Tight ends, Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid, and I'm going to go Jefferson as well. Actually. I'm still going to keep it. Look, I know I think let me just do a
I
little
just don't
research
know
here
that I can
because
trust a Bills tight end at all in a playoff run. I don't know that I can do that.
I'm
I
just looking
think
at his team here. I
Njoku
mean,
is
Jalen Hurts, Joe Mix, Chase Brown, with George Pickens, T. Higgins. I mean, I think maybe you got a little lucky there with George Pickens. Start with Russell Wilson now. I mean, I'm not sure how you've been. I mean, you had Justin Jefferson, I guess. So you've been starting George Pickens and Justin Jefferson.
no. He had Puka Nacua, brother.
No, he's receiving Puka Nacua.
You know what? You're right. Look, uh, I just feel
this
like
is
I would much rather roll with Njoku there.
well. He's in the chat here. He says, "Thanks for taking my question. I ended up trading Tony Pollard, Higgins, and Kincaid, and getting Puka, T.J. Hawkinson,
Ooh,
and Bucky. Um,
perfect.
that's an even better trade.
Perfect. Well
I
done,
love
man.
that trade. And you keep Justin Jefferson, you get Puka Nacua. Um, this is great because my concern is George Pickens moving forward. Apparently, someone's saying something's wrong with my
You're good. You're
microphone.
good.
Let's
I
see.
fixed it.
Okay. Um, which I'm not saying that I'm concerned about George Pickens, but I think yeah, I just rather have Puka start as my wide receiver 2 or George Pickens every week. But he's been doing good in the past
I
couple
think
weeks.
Pickens is a league winner rest of season. I think he's the truth.
Yeah, especially
What I
if
hear.
Russell Wilson's there for sure. I agree. I can see it.
Hey, honorary my guy. All right. And yes, I didn't tell any of you that while he was doing bad. All right. But here I am. All right. We've got a team review here. It's a redraft team review. It's Jovian DC Bond, which comes off the tongue like molasses. You'll love to see it smooth like a nice whiskey. If you want to get your team reviewed, check out the pinned comment in the chat. We can review your team, but this is from Jovian C. Bond. Appreciate the donation here. Let's have a look at his team. His team name is Chip Diamonds. Come on, Chip.
Diamond.
You're currently 6th out of 12 teams, and your league definitely has an experienced player. His name is the Mass Debaters because he is by far like almost 1,000 points better than any other team in the league analyzer when you use my rankings here. And
he's 4-6. So...
He is 4-6, but look at the reason why. I mean, he's had Devon Achane without Tua for a while. Jordan Love has gone through injuries. He's had Nico Collins out with injuries. George Pickens hasn't been good until Russell Wilson took over. So you can draw conclusions as to why.
Sure. Yeah, but we'll have to look at your team.
4-6 is going to be tough. But anyway, all right. So yeah, what was his name? Chip Diamond.
Yeah,
6-4.
Yeah,
Go
Chip
ahead.
Diamond. Yeah, it says any advice to help becoming a league winner. Thanks. All right, no worries. So Bo Nix is your quarterback, which is good. I think it's okay. I think it just depends on maybe who's available, which we'll have a look at the waiver wire soon. Alvin Kamara, Tyrone Tracy.
I've talked about Bo Nix a lot as like a trade target, a must waiver wire pickup type of name. His playoff schedule is great. He's got the Colts in week 15. That's a good one for your quarterbacks. And then in week 17, he's got the Bengals, another great one for your quarterback as well. And he's also got a really great stretch of games to get you to the playoffs, like the Falcons, the Raiders, the Browns. So I've been talking about Bo Nix. I think he's a fine option to go on a little run with. Obviously, he's not Lamar Jackson, but he's like just as good as these other names like Stroud and Purdy. Like he should be in that range, but people don't want to put him in that range because he's a rookie. So anyway, keep going.
Alvin Kamara, Tyrone Tracy, Brian Robinson, maybe who you started this week, and then Kareem Hunt. You also have Malik Nabers, Devontae Adams, Josh Downs, Jacoby Myers, and Jawan Johnson. By the way, this is a 12-team start 7, so this is a smaller league with T.J. Hawkinson right now. Okay, so
love Hawkinson. He looks like a league winner rest of the season.
Yeah, I agree. I think your running back room is strong. I think what I'm a little bit concerned about maybe is your wide receiver room. I think Devontae Adams has been up and down. Josh Downs has been up and down. Jacoby Myers also has an exciting schedule in the playoffs. If I'm not mistaken, he's kind of the number one guy in the Jawan Jennings there. So I think for me, what I'm seeing here is your wide receiver 2 doesn't feel as strong. But I think maybe that's where we can hit the trades, but also looking at the waiver wires as well really quick.
I was going to say, I think Jonathan Brooks would be worth picking up, but I just think with how small your depth is, like a start 7, I don't think you would drop anyone
Yeah,
that you've already got
there's
for these
no
names.
there's no one here I'm willing to pick up to start over
Like
anyone. I
in the
mean,
flock league, I think you and I'd be excited about a lot of these waiver wire options because of how bare it is for us. But that's
yeah,
in your league, I don't think you can pick up most of these names.
yeah, I agree. I completely agree.
Okay,
So
I think you and I are both going to be on the same page on how to attack this team. But why don't we first give it a grade from an A plus to an F minus? To me, this is like a B plus range.
yeah, I agree. B plus range, right there in the middle.
And I think we could turn it into an A. It's all about consolidation, isn't it? With this roster, you have
Yeah,
so many startable names. We would rather, instead of having like 5 great depth pieces that are sitting on your bench, we'd rather turn that into 3 superstars and 1 depth piece. You know what I mean? So we've been begging you guys to sell Kareem Hunt for a couple weeks now. I don't think you can do it anymore. We will talk about ways you might be able to send him in there. But I think names like Brian Robinson, Kareem Hunt, Downs, Myers, Juwan Jennings, these are all names that we can use that are legit startable names to go out there and upgrade our flex. I think that's really what we're focused on right now, because if you think about the starting lineup in a start 7, you've got Nix, Kamara, Tracy, Neighbors, Adams, Hawkinson, and then it's that last flex spot that we really want to shore up. So why don't we look at some teams? Why don't we start, Badaki, with running back needy teams? Why don't we start there?
yeah. Having a look at some teams here. Let's see.
How about the guy named
Yeah.
Team Smooth Brain, 4 and 6, and yeah, it's an appropriate name because look at the guy's running back room.
Teams
Why
move,
don't
right?
we use Kareem Hunt in this deal and try and find our way into a T Higgins? So, for example, we package up names like Josh Downs and Kareem Hunt to try and get a Higgins. I think that can make a ton of sense for you. It
Yeah,
makes sense for
I
that guy
like that as
because
well.
he feels comfortable. If he doesn't want Kareem Hunt, okay, use Brian Robinson here. Brian Robinson and Josh Downs to go out there and get a T Higgins. Is
Yeah,
there
I
a
like
trade you
that.
can think of for Amon-Ra with this user, or do we just want to target Higgins?
Yeah, I mean, Amon-Ra might be a little bit too much personally. I don't know if you can, unless he values like a Devontae Adams. Kareem Hunt, Devontae Adams. I think that's still a big
Sure.
up,
Kareem Hunt
uptick.
and Adams for Amon-Ra is not a bad move either.
Yeah, but just trying to wait and see what that looks like. If he values that, but I don't necessarily see anyone too much of value there.
Joe Buck yourself could make a lot of sense here. He's got AJ Brown, Puka Nacua. I know AJ Brown just played, but you can still complete a deal and it will be processed the next week. Definitely double check your league settings. It looks like you're on ESPN, but we want to target an AJ Brown, a Drake London, a Puka Nacua in a deal like this. So,
No
for
question.
example, can we offer? First, you can offer like a Kareem Hunt and a. I mean, let's be
I'll
honest.
kinda do
Like
the same
Kareem
thing
Hunt's
with-
not going to do anything, so I think you're going to have to offer
No.
like Brian Robinson and Jacoby, or Brian Robinson and Jennings, to go out and get one of those names.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he kind of needs help too, unless he wants to solidify that Washington backfield and do Brian Robinson and Myers and see what type of deal you can get down there. But
Yeah, if you can get a London, a Puka, any of these names, I would make it 3. I would send him Kareem Hunt, Downs, and Jacoby if it meant I could get one of those names. So that's another team that needs some running back help. Rabid Bunny, they definitely. This is
definitely-
perfect.
yeah,
They
this is
need
good.
you desperately. Let's get Jaden Reed. So let's package Kareem Hunt and Downs for Jaden Reed. If that doesn't work, package Brian Robinson and Josh Downs for Jaden Reed. We're on the same page here.
Yep, I'm there with you.
That's a win-win. That guy doesn't even need Jaden Reed in his wide receiver room. How about
like,
the guy
if,
who has? Go ahead.
All right, I was just gonna say, like, I think if people are smart in your league and aren't valuing Kareem Hunt that way, I would just be happy to get like a swap, like Kareem Hunt, and I'll give me like the Calvin Ridley, give me, well, just really Calvin Ridley the way he's been playing, because if he's going to be splitting that backfield with Pacheco, you're probably not most likely going to be starting him over Brian Robinson, Tracy, or Alvin, obviously. So just to give you some more depth at the wide receiver position.
Yeah, I think that's good. Do we want to find another team that's running back needy? Anyone come to mind for you?
Just
What's
having
the
a
team
look
name, by the way?
Montgomery and Monty.
How about
I guess let's
free Tory
ride.
Lanez?
Free Tory Lanez. Let's see.
Like you could send him
Rashad
Kareem
White.
Hunt for
Okay.
Cedric Tillman straight up.
Yeah, you can do something like that.
I like that idea as well.
You could take a little bit of a risk here and do let's ride Lennon. You can send him Kareem Hunt and do Chris Olave. See if you can get Chris Olave.
Right, because we don't know if
We don't know what
either will have value after this week, but
exactly. But
it's
you know,
worth it for
at
the
least
playoffs,
if
right?
Chris Olave is back, and you're going to be starting him in your flex over all the other guys that you do have over Downs and Jacoby most likely.
yeah.
So I would try that.
Okay, one more option if this guy wants to get a little more depth after Cup because it's pretty barren. If you want to go ahead and try and grab Cup, you could try to send over Brian Robinson or a Kareem Hunt plus a Downs and Myers or a Downs and Jennings, whatever the case may be. I'd rather keep Jennings, but those are options as well. So overall, you can see the kind of deals we're putting together here, Jovi. Basically, wherever you can do 2-for-1s to improve your roster, I think you should. I think TJ Hawkinson is a must keep, as well as Neighbors and Alvin Kamara. Everyone else is a movable name. Everyone else we can shuffle around in 2-for-1, 3-for-1 deals. You have a ton of depth. Let's find teams who cherish that depth right now, who are just looking to get into the playoffs, and let's take advantage of them. So I think that is your goal from here on out. We appreciate you. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the support, man. A lot of ideas thrown in there. And what I'm going to do is I try to do this to anybody who submits a team review. I also try to give them a trade question voucher for free so they can come back to the stream and say, hey, took your advice. These are some this is a trade offer that's on the table. What do you guys think? So we appreciate you, man. The next one's a start sit from Manyo. Why don't you go ahead and hit that up? By the way, guys, like goal today is 50. Do us a favor, hit that like button. Go ahead, Badaki.
Huge love. Yeah, appreciate you. This is one quarterback, 12 team start 7. So he's looking at the flex option. He's already starting Jaden Daniels, who started Jaden Daniels, which didn't have the best week. Actually, he came back. He got like, depending on the league that you're in.
Yeah, it's like
those garbage touchdowns
time.
in that 2 point. Josh Jacobs, Jahmyr Gibbs, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, and you are considering at the flex option here, and it's going to be Drizzy Drake.
Yeah,
you start Drake London if he's playing.
I get why people are concerned with the Pat Surtain matchup. It's not a good matchup, but I'm not going to start Etienne versus the Lions defense. He could go off, but it's not a good matchup. Warren is healthy.
He's been going actually, like Patrick. How many fantasy points he's been giving up?
The Lions?
No,
Surtain.
Patrick.
They're one of the worst matchups in fantasy. Yeah, it's definitely is.
Yeah.
But
no, I understand. I guess I just wonder how many he's specifically been giving up.
Sure. Yeah. But they can move Drake London around. We've seen Drake London in the slot a lot this year.
Well, that's the thing. Nice Drake London has been in the slot. It's really more Darnell Mooney. But is Surtain going to be traveling with Drake London or traveling with Mooney, which is going to be interesting because that sucks for me because I have Darnell Mooney. Anyways, appreciate you guys.
Hello, Tez is next here.
Hello, Tez. He says, hi on Kyron, low on Saints. What do you think? So you're sending away Alvin Kamara, Garrett Wilson, you're receiving Kyron Williams, Jalen Waddle, and Jacoby Myers.
No, thank you.
Yeah, this is too much. I mean, Jalen Waddle has been performing, and Jacoby is on a terrible offense.
I like Jacoby. The issue is Waddle's not reliable. You downgrade. All right, so Kyron and Alvin probably in the same tier, but in a 10-team start 7, you're in a smaller format than most people. Well, 10-team is... It's on the smaller side. It's not abnormal, but like a lot of people are in 12-team leagues. You got up to like 14, 16-team leagues. So the depth doesn't matter as much in your league because it's smaller. And you have the smallest starting lineup possible at start 7. So we do not want to acquire depth in a deal. I would definitely hit with the hammers with Kamara and Wilson here.
Yeah, I 1,000% agree. So keep those players and you'll be all right. Don't stress. Daniel, Barrios. Appreciate you. He says 5-5 and desperate. And I trust your guys' opinion. Okay. Well, good luck this week. We'll try our best, but we don't have the crystal ball. Okay, so you start Lamar Jackson, sure. I think out of these guys, we'll start Ramondre Stevenson over Rico Dowdle and Travis Etienne with Breece Hall there at the wide receiver position. Because
I was gonna say quickly, I hate both Etienne and Rico's matchups. I really don't like their matchups or their offenses.
At the wide receiver position, you're considering Tank Dell, Ricky Pearsall, Demario Douglas, and Jalen Waddle here. For me, this would be Tank Dell.
Tough.
And it's a toss-up between Waddle and Pearsall, and I'm going to go Waddle.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. This sucks, the options that you have. And I agree, like, Tank Dell, Waddle is probably your best names here. You really want some upside. You have to recognize there's a floor with Waddle. So you have to know that risk going into this. But who's more likely to have a 50-point game, Jalen Waddle or Demario Douglas? Jalen Waddle or Ricky Pearsall? And the reason you're 5-5, you should be almost undefeated. But look at the injuries, man. Lost Rashee Rice. I feel that in my home league. I'm the same way. You lost Brandon Ayuk. In the Flock League, I traded him away before he went down. But that's tough, man. Like, two of your important pieces. That's rough.
Yeah.
At tight end, I think Tucker Kraft would be my option here over Taysom. We've already got enough risky. Like, your wide receivers are already risky enough. I think Kraft is a little safer. At the flex spot, though, we have to choose some of these names. This is not fun.
I think one for sure I am going to be going is Ricky Pearsall. I mean, we saw what he did last week.
Yeah.
I think he had like 6 targets. He scored a touchdown. But obviously, if he doesn't break for that big touchdown, what does his day look like? You're kind of hoping for that to happen again.
Yeah,
and just to even
that touchdown really helped his day, but it's possible he does it again, I guess.
Yeah, and just to give you context, like Demario Douglas is just not getting, I guess, the work and the hope that you want. I mean, we love Drake May, excuse me, but I just can't trust it right now. I think I would be going. Is it crazy to say I'm going to be going Rico?
I don't think that's crazy to say. Hate Rico and Etienne's matchups. I genuinely hate them.
I feel like what's interesting about Etienne's matchup is that Tank Bigsby is ruled out, right? Yes. So yeah, you have D'Ernest Johnson there. Is he going to get part of the workload?
And you know what sucks is they've shown us they will use D'Ernest Johnson.
Yeah,
that's enough for me not to go that direction.
I think really, I'm just going to go Rico.
Papa Rico here.
Yeah, I'm going to go Rico because you kind of hope that he gets the passing work in the air, quick, easy dump off plays, which they were trying to do last game. They just wasn't able to complete anything or get the ball down the field in those screens. So,
as fortunate as it is, Rico's probably your best option. Someone said, why not Tyrone Tracy? Tracy's on bye. So we can't start Tyrone Tracy. Would love to use him. Yeah,
we would definitely
unfortunate, man. Love to start Trey McBride as well at tight end, but another guy on bye. And you can't trust Deontay. I mean, you know what? Like, there's a fun part of it where it's like the Deontay narrative, the revenge game, but I don't trust it enough. Not in that offense.
I think you know what's interesting. He was frustrated last week. I think he expressed that not only.
He also played
to the team
really bad. He was so poor.
Look, I love narratives. Not saying it's gonna happen, but if you really want to take the risk,
no, don't. Don't do it. I can't.
Anyways.
I can't. All right, CCXR23. Rest of season. Who do we want? Love Wilson, but Jets. Yeah, Badaki and I realize you and I, Badaki, are much higher on Jayden Reed rest of season than everybody in fantasy football. I am really confused why people don't like Jayden Reed more.
I just think people are concerned. They saw like those last couple games where he wasn't the main guy. But you know what's funny? Like he wasn't the main guy, but he's still a top 12, top 15 wide receiver.
The wide receiver 13.
And
look,
I mean, I don't know. I don't really get it.
We like Jayden Reed more than the average person, but I want to show you guys his rest of season schedule. and tell me how many games you think the Packers are going to need to throw in, okay? So, Chicago this week, all right, whatever. It's a bad matchup. But after that, the Niners, you're going to have to throw. The Dolphins, it's going to be competitive. The Lions, it's going to be competitive, and it's a great matchup. The Seahawks are always competitive. The Saints in Week 16, fair enough, but it's a good matchup. And then the Vikings in Week 17, another fantastic matchup, another competitive matchup. He played Minnesota in Week 4, and he had eight targets, 7 catches, 139 and a tud. I love his rest of season schedule. I love him as a player. But are we willing to go that low?
You know what's crazy?
From Garrett.
Is that like... Yeah. If I had to choose right now, I would be going Garrett Wilson. I think, in my eyes, this is an even swap. Like, with the expectation of the rest of the season schedule...
If it's an even swap, then you would take the better schedule. I'm not sure it is an even swap.
And that makes sense. That's true. And I think this is why I think
Wilson's upcoming schedule.
Well, I think that's why I think it's an even. Yes, if it's an even swap, you look at then the tiebreaker should be rest of season schedule, which I agree with Zach. But I think the way Garrett Wilson has been performing, he's only had 2 games under double-digit points. One was last week against the Cardinals, and it was against Denver in Week 4, where he played. I'm assuming he was going against Patrick Surtain.
I mean Garrett's the wide receiver 3 on the season. He and Davante Adams are getting opportunities. I'm gonna stick with Garrett Wilson here. I just don't have the gonads to pull that one off.
The gonads.
I'm assuming you agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right. Dire Debug says Tyreek, Nico, Neighbors, Devonta Smith need stability. So they would be sending away. They would be sending away Tyreek and getting Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, give me Garrett Wilson.
Yeah?
Yeah, give me Garrett Wilson. Once again, kind of what I just said, 2 games under double-digit points so far this year, even with Davante Adams. I mean, he literally had his best game with Davante Adams in the second game he's been with. And Davante Adams had a good game as well. That was against Houston on that Thursday night football game. And, he was going against Stingley and, that other rookie corner that was a top pick as well.
I feel like you can go higher than Garrett Wilson. Can you not go higher than that? Yeah, I mean, I just feel like Tyreek for Neighbors myself. Could you not get into like the Puka Cup?
I don't think so.
Range? No. What about like Mike Evans? Would you rather have Mike Evans when he's back? I think I would.
I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah, this is a tough one, honestly.
Let me pull up rest of the season here. I'm just waiting for it to load.
Tyreek's schedule is actually pretty good, though. Like, Houston in Week 15, you can throw on them, tough to run on them, in a competitive matchup. The Niners in Week 16, a competitive matchup where he'll be needed. In Week 17, the Browns. So it's a good schedule upcoming.
Fantasy Pros rest of the season schedule, Tyreek, wide receiver 10. 3 names ahead. Terry, Malik, Puka, 3 names below. Garrett Wilson, Cooper Kupp, Jaden Reed. So yeah. I guess you could get Puka technically, I think you did mention Puka or Malik. I just don't think people. I feel like right now Tyreek is just name value. Any given week, I completely agree. He can get you that 30 points. Any given week. But I think I just need security. I need security.
And I just traded away Tyreek Hill, but I'm not convinced that what we have seen from him in the last couple weeks is what we will see from him the rest of the season.
My thing is, sure, and I agree. I think, is it going to be 20 games, or is it going to be 20, then 9, then 12, then 25? Would you rather have that, or would you rather have consistent what Garrett Wilson's giving you? I think he's giving you, I can tell you exactly right now, Garrett Wilson is giving you 16.6 fantasy points per game. Would you rather have that or the boom bust of Tyreek Hill week to week?
I don't think 16 is unrealistic to expect from Tyreek rest of season either. I just don't think they've been on the same page just yet. Especially if they go on a little streak here. I don't really mind what you do here. I don't really mind, like, if you feel like, you know what, he's already got neighbors, by the way, but if you can turn him into a Cup instead or a Puka instead, I would do that. I prefer that direction, or even a Mike Evans if you can wait on Mike Evans. But you know, overall, I guess if you want the stability, then I guess we can go the Garrett Wilson route. But I mean, it's not like the Jets offense is good either.
No,
it's not like yeah, you've seen a really good game from Garrett Wilson with Devontae Adams in town, but you've also seen mediocre games too from him. I mean, 13, 9. So it's not that, I don't think it's like worlds different with Devontae Adams there, but you have seen the upside with Garrett Wilson. So I'm fine if that's the direction you want to go. Like I said, I don't have a strong opinion. I really don't. Trump Force 47 is next. And they said, bad Thursday night, need a banger at flex. And I feel ya. I started Terry McLaurin in the Flock League on Thursday night. And
you have Terry in the Flock League?
Don't get me started.
Oh, my God. I did not know that.
The rage I felt watching that game was, oh, my gosh. I want to yell through the screen.
It's okay. It's okay because Devonta Smith only had 6 points. So I think that kind of evens out. If Devonta Smith had
I think most people would have had Terry ranked ahead of Devonta going into the week. I was already an underdog because of how many bye weeks I have.
Sure. Yeah.
And injuries, but it is what it is. I'm all I'm saying is I feel you, and I can't express the anger that is inside of me. How don't get me on a tangent here. Just what was the plan? That was the worst game I've seen from Washington all year. They had no easy layups for Terry McLaurin. It was disgusting. And people are saying that he was shut down. Fine, fair enough. But he's also in like triple coverage, double coverage. They had no easy layups, no simple slants, screen plays. You know, okay, they're going to play 2 high safeties, put them over the, you know, a little cross over the middle of the field, let them do some yak. They had no ideas. They weren't even looking his way. And in the drives where they needed to score, they could have still tied the game up. He wasn't even on the field for most of the time. It was, yeah, don't get me started. Anyway, so we're starting Jalen Hurts, Bijan Robinson, Joe Mixon, A.J. Brown, Drake London, and the flex is where he's stuck. Oh my God, of course you're stuck. Holy shit, it's an 8-team league, that's why. My goodness. You better go trade one of these guys for a better tight end, man. You better go trade J.K. Dobbins and Evan Ingram for a Brock Bowers or, you know, like one of these top names. Connor's on bye.
Aaron Jones playing this week is interesting. I feel like it's either, for me, this is between Aaron Jones and T. Higgins, personally. I would like to wait and see, depending on how T need banger at flex. Yeah, you need to go T.
Yeah.
The thing is, T can go off, or T can just be like, oh, we're just going to work him in easy, you know?
Yeah, look, if there are reports that come out that he'll be limited, you go Aaron Jones. But if those reports don't come out and we assume he's full go, we'll go T. Higgins. They need to win this game. They really do. There's not a single moment in this game where the Bengals would be like, we feel comfortable. Let's take the foot off the pedal. That will not exist. It's Dev with the start sit question. 10-team start 7. They're starting Bo Nix, Jacobs. Hey, the Flock League make fun of me, bro, for the Bo Nix stuff. And here, all of our, you know, users are starting Bo Nix because they're smart people. How about that?
It's just a win-win everywhere because we were high on Bo Nix. Anyways.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We don't need to victory lap. We'll do that in the offseason on the Dynasty channel.
See you there.
Okay. Shakir. I'm going to start T. Higgins over Shakir first off. And then I'll probably flex Shakir in the flex spot. Or
I'm right there with you.
Do you play TJ over Shakir?
Nah, I'm still starting Shakir. No Keon Coleman. I know Amari Cooper's back, but I think Shakir is a safety blanket in the middle of the field, playing in the slot. Maybe Amari gets doubled.
Yeah.
in the outside. Dalton Kincaid's a little bit shaky as well, or I'm pretty sure he's not playing. And I know Dawson Knox is going to be stepping up, but give me Shakira in the middle.
I'm fine with that. I am close between Shakir, Jacoby, and TJ. Love TJ Hawkinson. Not only this week, he was my start of the week last week, and he is one of my favorite tight ends the rest of the season. His schedule is incredible. He's getting such a high target share, and he's not even over 50% of the snaps yet. He's going to be a league winner. Manyo, 79, with a 1 quarterback, 12-team start, 7. By the way, guys, if you want to prioritize your questions, you can prioritize them through the website. We do see your super chats, but as we've said for a couple months here, full transparency is great, and the transparency that we offer to you guys is telling you, hey, any questions through the website, they will be prioritized first. And let me just say this. If you don't have a free account on Flock Fantasy just yet, go get one, flockfantasy.com/land. When you use our promo code LAND, L-A-N-D, you're going to get a couple things as a thank you just for creating a free account. Things like the My Team Analyzer, where if you have a league with ESPN, Sleeper, Yahoo, you can link it up and see how we would rank you amongst the rest of your league. The trade calculator, expert consensus rankings, and then once you link up your team, it's actually so easy to submit a question through the website. You'll see the link that we have pinned in the comment. It'll take you to a website that looks like this, and then you can decide what it is you're looking for from us. And then let's say it's a start sit. Well, your team is already linked there, and the rest is history. But Manyo 79, start sit. Brock Purdy, Saquon. So you're off to a great start. J.K. Dobbins at the wide receiver position. I'm going to go Calvin Ridley versus the Vikings. Love the matchup. One of my starts of the week this week. And then at the flex spot between Juwan Jennings and Ladd McConkey, where do you lean here? Juwan Jennings looks like he could be the wide receiver 1 rest of the season for this team.
Yeah, I'm going to go Ladd. I think he's going to be... I feel like he's going to be needed more. I think there's a lot of weapons on the 49ers. CMC's back. George Kittle. Debo's also here and healthy. I know this is a divisional game, but I think Ladd is going to be needed. Playing at home against the Bengals, kind of like you mentioned earlier, this is a must-win game for the Bengals. I kind of expect this to be a high-scoring game. At least I'm hoping for it to be a high-scoring game. So just give me Ladd McConkey here.
I don't think that's crazy at all. I would lean Juwan Jennings myself. Only reason I say that is because, if it's possible to get 11 targets on the 49ers offense, that is extremely valuable. And he just did it last week. But I don't mind which way you go. They're very close to my rankings. I just slightly lean Juwan. All right. Let's refresh. I know we do have more questions on the site. First one here from J. Dalla Sign.
Hey, Dalla Sign, kid.
Knox is available on the waivers at tight end. So they are starting Hurts, Hunt, Brees, Garrett, Waddle, Chubb. And they're deciding between names like Taysom, Kmet, and Knox. Dawson Knox. So, tough decision here. I think I'm going to lean Taysom Hill myself. With Taysom, there's just so many injuries to this team. Wide receiver room across the board, running backs, wide receivers, they're all destroyed by injuries. So I am going to lean Taysom Hill. He has work on the goal line, in the red zone. He's used as a receiver, as a running back. It's just at the tight end, it's rare to see that kind of usage.
Taysom Hill is interesting for sure. I can understand it. I'll tell you this. I'm leaning narratives in so many different ways. I like Cole Kmet because there's no Shane Waldron anymore.
Sure.
I also like you picking up Dawson Knox because there's no Dalton Kincaid. And Taysom Hill can have a 30-point game.
Yeah. You're really shooting fish in a barrel. Well, no, you're not actually. Sorry, you're throwing darts blindfolded here with these options. That's what
I would just say I am going Cole Kmet here.
Okay. I don't mind that. I don't mind
this offense
any of these options.
Needs him. Yeah. I'm going with the narrative. I think this offense is going to need Cole Kmet. Maybe they simplify it. I know he has wide receivers on the outside. He's been going through the middle of the field. And they're playing the Green Bay Packers. So I kind of expect them to be throwing the ball a little bit more, so more passing opportunities. So that's kind of where I'm going.
Honestly, this is such a close call, and there's really not enough good solid data behind either decision you make. If you have a partner in your life, you have a girlfriend in your life, whatever. Hey, which name do you like better?
All right, where you go?
You like Cole Kmet or Taysom Hill? Which name sounds better to you? And whatever they say is, I've done this before. I did it in the Flock League one week. But yeah, I'm gonna go Taysom Hill for the upside, but Aki's gonna go Cole Kmet for the narrative.
Floor.
And
Yeah, the narrative and the floor, I think, for me. Appreciate you. Matthew Bear, 13, he says Sutton, super message, by the way. Sutton, Tillman, Shakira, flex, which one to drop?
Oh, what?
Why are we dropping?
I don't want to drop any of these guys.
Let's not drop anyone. I want to keep all. If any, actually, a lot of these guys are starters this week, or just in general. You know, you got wide receiver 1 on both teams here. Technically, on all 3 teams, if you really want to talk about Shakir and his workload. I don't want to answer this question. I appreciate the donation. I'm not answering this question.
We have to.
I know.
Look,
I'm just saying, dude, that's kind of crazy.
This sounds like maybe a 6-team league or something crazy like that. Maybe 8-team, I don't know. But you actually can't drop one of these names. If you have to, Shakir. Because rest of season, I do think that Keon Coleman, Amari Cooper, Dalton Kincaid, when they're healthy, they will be involved. But I would rather package these guys and upgrade somewhere. I'd rather package... Look, if you have this much depth and you're going to drop one of these names, package Shakir, Tillman, and Sutton and go get a superstar. Package Shakir, Tillman, and whoever's starting at wide receiver to upgrade, or go get a quarterback upgrade. Package Shakir and Brock Purdy to go get a top name. Package Shakir, Tillman, and Brock Purdy to go get Lamar Jackson. I don't know. Get a Brock Bowers upgrade at tight end. Find a way to do a 2-for-1, a 3-for-1, because every fantasy league needs a Shakir, Tillman, and Sutton. But if you literally have to, it would be Shakir, but I don't want to do that. Doghouse 23 here at the start sit. I'm 7-3. Just traded CD and Eckler for Amari, Sutton, and Reed. Having trouble with who I should flex. So they traded CD and Eckler for Amari, Sutton, and Reed. I don't mind that at all. Okay, so it's a 12-team start 8. Very similar to the Flock League. They're starting Lamar, Jacobs, Stevenson, which is their best option, Sutton, Reed, and Njoku. And they can flex names like Amari Cooper. Oh, flex is tough. I think that was a great trade you made, considering how tough the flex position is right now. I think you've got to start with Amari Cooper if he's healthy and active. I know he's got a wrist injury that he's going through, but he's just your best option. And then, what, I guess Rico?
Yeah, I agree.
That flex spot is tough. I mean, before you made that deal, you would have been struggling to even put a lineup in there. How are you 7-3, brother? There must be names that he didn't add in here because they're on bye. I don't know. But, hey, keep doing it, man. Keep doing your thing. You're killing it right now. Honestly, Jaylen Warren would have been in play for me because I really liked the narrative of him being a pass catcher against the Ravens, but we don't know if he's going to play now. But yeah, I'll go Amari and Rico. You have any other opinion there?
No, I agree. I concur, brother. Big J Rock. Big J. I need to play 2 and sit 1. Mooney, JSN, Dobbs.
Okay, so they asked the question a little bit differently. They didn't actually submit their entire lineup. They haven't actually included any players. They basically submitted it as a super message. But that's okay. So play 2 and sit 1. So sit 1 be JSN, I would sit. Or actually Dobbs, I would sit. Sorry.
I would sit Dobbs. So I'm starting Mooney and JSN even if Mooney has a tough matchup. I know JSN's going to be interesting because that's tough with DK coming back. But, I mean, you can't trust Dobbs right now. You kind of have to wait and see it. But you can't sit that 30-point game from JSN right now.
Yeah, and he's not going to have anywhere near that upside with DK back. But Dobbs, I just hate the matchup for Dobbs, and he could totally overcome it. But I'm more comfortable with Mooney, JSN myself. By the way, Big Rock, just so you know, best way to submit a question like that is, first off, create a free account if you guys haven't with the promo code LAND, L-A-N-D. When you do, you'll get a couple things for free, like the My Team Analyzer, the Expert Consensus Rankings, the Trade Calculator. And then once you've created your free account with our promo code LAND, You can enter a team through the Flock League. Sorry, through the My Team Analyzer with Sleeper, ESPN, or Yahoo. And once that's all linked up, you'll go to our link and you can click on your team. It'll automatically import the settings. And then you can just go position by position and tell us if a player's locked in, or just tell us if you're considering a couple names, right? And that will help us kind of decide with you what's the best move for your team. So you go through position by position and then submit it, just so you guys know. Want to make it the best experience for you too. But we would sit Dobbs. Mole Rat here. It's a 12-team start 9. They're starting Herbert. Kyler's on bye. They're starting Achane, Aaron Jones, Tillman, Adams, Pearsall, Disley, because McBride's on bye. They're flexing Chase Brown, and they are in a very tough position. Honestly, this is so funny because it's kind of the same position I'm in the Flock League, Badaki, where I have to start one of Devon Vele, Mike Williams, or Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm in the same spot, and I have no idea what to do. I have been begging and praying the fantasy gods, please let a report come out this week where the coaching staff talks about using Mike Williams more, where they talk about giving him a higher percentage of the snaps. That hasn't happened, and it's making me really on edge, because you would assume, like we would just assume that it's going to happen. But what if it doesn't? Because he only played 12% of the snaps.
Yeah,
so
look, it's tough. It's tough.
If he doesn't get that one catch, he has a goose egg. A goose egg is a possible outcome for him, but it's a great matchup. If he was playing 50% of the snaps, I'd start him. But I don't know that.
Yeah,
so,
we don't know that. Well, Vele has been up and down. Vele has been up and down as well.
Yep. Molerat says they said that. Molerat, where did they say that? I'm honestly asking that because I want to read the report too. Just tell me who on Twitter said it. What was their name? I gotta know. But sorry. So between Devon, Mike, and Juju.
Well, I mean, if you just go to Mike Williams' profile, it says Mike Williams should get more run in week 11. Should.
Oh, that's Rotoballer.
Yeah, Rotoballer. Is likely to see more playing time now in the second week in the team, and can get a few shots down the field from quarterback Russell Wilson. This is a certain matchup that Williams and teammate George Pickens can exploit the Ravens and have surrendered the most fantasy points per game to wideouts this season. So, I mean, you could go with that narrative.
That's not a report from anybody in the building. That's just their opinion.
Exactly.
It says he will look to get more involved. Great. That's just not from anyone in the building, though. That doesn't tell me anything. Unless there's a different report that I haven't read.
I know like 32 beat writers retweets everything, which has been great. Yeah. I want to know the top 3 beat writers for each and every team. Like, I wish I had that information because I would just follow them directly. Because I feel like they don't 32 beat writers doesn't repost the little things. They just repost the big things. You get what I'm saying?
They used to repost the little things. I'm not sure.
I wish there was a list of just the top 3 beat writers in each, and I can just go follow each and every one of them so I can know. Or they could be like, beat writer Steeler 1. Like, just make your name. I don't know. I feel like it's just smart. Yeah. Anyways. I'll go Mike Williams with you with the hopes in that narrative that, we're kind of reading, we're seeing. And I think they will be utilized and exploited. I mean, this is going to have to be a high-scoring game if you think about it. Ravens at Steelers, a divisional game at home for the Steelers, and they can take advantage of the Ravens' backfields. So I'll just go with the better offense, in my opinion, and the more experienced players rather than Vele versus the Falcons, which can really go in either way.
I have been scrubbing the internet to find a Mike Williams report from anyone in the building, and I can't find it.
The only thing that would suck for Mike is that he gets hurt, which I feel like is just as high as getting 0 points.
Yeah,
for
you
Mike.
Can say that for anyone though, right? I mean,
in his injury history
nowadays. I mean, concussions. I get it. We want people to be healthy, but it's made fantasy really, really tough at times. Yeah, I think I'm gonna roll with Mike. You know what? I'd love to phone a friend for personal reasons. I'm actually gonna go ahead and put a poll in the chat because I have this decision. Who is the best start? I'm doing this for personal reasons, and it's also going to help Mole Rat here. I'm going to tell you guys all the options I have. I have MVS as an option. I have Mike Williams as an option. I have Juju as an option, and I have Devon Vele as an option. All right, polls going in the chat. I need you guys to help both myself and Mole Rat. We both are calling on you for help. All right. You know, he doesn't have MVS, so maybe I should remove MVS from it. Would you start MVS or these names, Badaki? Is Badaki there?
No, I'm just thinking.
Oh, okay.
The only reason I will start MVS because I just know I can guarantee Derek Carr is going to at least throw the ball to MVS 3 to 4 times down the field, and he just needs to catch one. That's all he needs to do.
God, I feel like MVS has more bust potential than these names.
But that's the only narrative. That's the only narrative I can give you for MVS. He is the most bust potential, but he actually also has the highest ceiling out of all these guys. And that may sound crazy because of the New Orleans offense. That's the only reason why.
I hate week 11. I hate week 11 so much. Okay, let me help this guy out. And looks like everyone's gonna say MVS. All right, so let's help him out. We'll do one more poll here, and let's remove MVS. Who to start? Let's help Mole Rat out here. Mike Williams, Devon Vele,
I'm
or
also
Juju.
assuming, like, is everyone in the chat saying MVS because of my narrative that I'm saying? Like,
everyone agrees with you with what you just said.
Yeah, because that's why I was asking, because that's the only reason why I would start NVS. The only reason. I just hope that Derek Carr throws the ball to him down the field for 30 yards. Even if it's one catch for 50 yards, at least I got 5 points.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Everybody go vote in the poll right now so we can help Mole Rat out and me selfishly. I mean, I might have to trust you guys. I might have to go ahead and put MVS into the starting lineup. I can't believe I'm starting Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
I'm trying to think of mobile play wires too. You gonna
disgusting.
Start him? Oh, the chat. If you lose, you can't blame the chat. You lost because you started Terry. So
if I lose, I will find everybody who individually voted. I'll find their email addresses. I will leak their information online to, yeah, I'll dox them. Is that what it's called? Dox? I don't know.
Dox.
Anyway,
anyways.
The chat says 62% of people are saying to start Mike Williams. So hopefully that is helpful. We'll go Mike Williams.
Mike Williams. Dan is the last question I can see here
on the site.
Maybe we refreshed.
Let's just double check, guys. If you want to prioritize your questions through the website, the link I just put in the chat is the best one to use. Otherwise, we'll get to these super chats. But go ahead with this this next one.
Lamb versus Ridley. Oh boy.
I
said this earlier.
Ridley.
You're playing Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
It's just it's just too much question marks. I mean, and we all been Uka Dukes once this year with Nico Collins already. I don't think we've been Uka Dukes with somebody else this year, actually.
Yeah, CMC week 1, but that was different.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was. Oh, CMC is gonna be fine. He's gonna play. Same thing with Nico Collins, and then doesn't play. Just start Ridley. Risk aversion, really.
I love Ridley's matchup.
Right, yeah, start Ridley.
Before the injury news came out about CeeDee Lamb's back, I was on Ridley even at that time. So I am still going to go with Ridley. Love his matchup, and I don't want to play the game. It's time to play the game, but I just don't want to play the game. I don't want to play that game. All right.
Don't be that guy.
No more questions through the website. Of course, you can still submit one through the site, and we'll get a notification, and yours will be prioritized. But of course, we've got super chats here. Mole Rat was the first super chat actually, but he went to the site.
I appreciate
but yeah, we entered that ones. And Mole Rat, I'd love to ask you as well. Like, was there a different report, or was that the one that you saw as well, where It was just from Roto Baller. Jonathan's the next one. Why don't you go ahead and answer Jonathan?
Yeah,
So we'll look at this.
He said Hurts, Smith already played, not great, huge upside for one wide receiver in flex. Well, Hurts did decent, depending on your league. But yes, one wide receiver, one flex. Higgins, Adams, Tillman, really, or Jennings. I think you have to start T. Higgins and Devontae Adams for me.
Yeah, it's funny because Hurts, he had no passing touchdowns, but he had a rushing touchdown. 18 points is his lowest performance since week 4. So if you face Jalen Hurts, you're feeling like pretty comfortable. But
yeah,
it's not bad.
You
Like
glad
18 points is probably what most people are getting anyway. So you said who? Sorry, you said Adams and Higgins, or
Adams and Higgins, yeah, for me. I feel like if you are scared about T. Higgins, in the narrative that I think this way can go, I would be more comfortable starting Calvin Ridley. My other narrative on T. Higgins is he just going to go out there full go? Is he going to be limited? If there's a report that does come out that does say T. Higgins is going to be, playing 40 to 50% of the snaps and not going to be out there a full go, I'll go Adams and Ridley. But if there's no reports that come out, I think you just got to go with the high upside play in Higgins personally. But that's kind of where I'm feeling. But appreciate you, Jonathan. I think Zach kind of agrees with you.
I'm going to answer this as well. I think it would be Higgins and Adams for me as well. The only way that would change is if a report comes out that they say Higgins will be limited. Then I would go Adams and Ridley. But here's what I'll say. These are all, like, Tillman, Ridley, and Jennings are all actually incredible starts in fantasy right now, and they won't be starting for you. You know what we're going to say, guys, if you've been on the stream for a while. Consolidation. You've got to find a 2-for-1 or 3-for-1 deal out there where you can improve your starting lineup, you can improve your chances in the playoffs, and package Ridley and Jennings, package Ridley and Tillman, and go get an upgrade somewhere with a team that has no depth or is in a position where they have a bunch of buys, So yeah, that would be my suggestion to you. By the way, we had Miguel ask, how do I get my team reviewed and get suggestions for a trade? In case anybody is wondering the same thing, I put a link in the chat for you there. Get your team reviewed through the Flock Fantasy website. But first, sign up for a free account with the promo code LAND. That's the best place to do it. But this little team review section here is where you'd want to do it. But first, you'd want to link up your team in the My Team section first. But even when you're on the website, by the way, there's like the top right is a button, the bottom right, the personal advice is a button. So anyway, that's how you can get your team reviewed. All right, what's the next super chat?
Joshua Carter, 2 wide
Hello,
receivers,
Mr.
1
Carter.
flex.
Mr. Carter.
Choose 3 out of this: DK, Tillman, Jennings, Chase Brown, Dobbins. This is DK, Chase Brown, and Tillman for me.
Yeah.
Unless you go all the wide receivers, but
no, Chase is a great play recently. It's a tough matchup, though, I will say.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm with you there. You said Metcalf, Tillman, Chase, right?
And Chase Brown, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you there as well. But I will say the same thing I said to the last guy. You could definitely consolidate a bit with your options.
Yeah. Colin Smith, half PPR, Rico or Estime? Estime, I would go Estime here.
Really?
I think with the reports that has been coming out, have you been seeing the reports? He was like, well,
no,
they continue to.
I loved it. I was honestly, I don't know if you saw any of the comments from our waiver video this week, but I talked about Audric Estime, talked about how we had him on the stash video for a long time. But the comment section was full of people who were like, Estime's a bum. There's literally no reason to pick him up. I was just confused. Like, there's not been a more hated name on the waiver wire this year than people saying Estime sucked, and there's no reason to pick him up.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. And I'm like, just to back you, I'm pretty sure, like, you said this in the video. But like, you just have to look at the context. I mean, Javonte Williams had 1 opportunity on the ground last week.
Yeah.
McMillan had 2 opportunities on the ground, and Estime had 14. And the report saying that they loved the way that he ran the ball last week, and that if he continues to run the ball like that, he's going to be the lead back. So yeah, if he doesn't run the ball again the same way, and to be fair, he didn't even do amazing. He had 14 carries, 53 yards.
Well,
just under 4 yards per carry. Like
The
not saying
context
that
there
is like
is he faced one of the best rushing defenses in the NFL.
yeah, and it's not
And
even
there
like
was a
he
couple calls
superstar.
that were called back that he had great rushing gains. But I would go Rico, and I'll tell you why. I do like Estime as an option. I'd much rather play him against the Raiders in Week 12 and the Browns in Week 13. But the reason I'm going Rico is because of the pass catching that Rico has.
Sure.
Estime is not going to be a pass catcher. So if he scores a touchdown, you'll be happy. If he doesn't, I think he'll bust for you. So that is ultimately the reason I would go Rico Dowdle here. Like I said, I'm just not comfortable enough in his role through the air. Javonte Williams is going to be their pass catching specialist. Jalil's going to catch passes. They will probably not have Estime on many third downs, if any. So, yeah, I would go ahead and lean Rico Dowdle there.
Who we have next? Buka?
Have you ever been to Buca de Beppo?
Buca de Beppo?
Ever been?
I've been to Bula. That's not even a place. I've been to Fiji. Anyways, no, I have not been.
Yeah, they got the
What
meats.
is that? Buca de what?
Buca de Beppo, I think is isn't that Italian?
Is that
Yeah.
Italian?
It's
It's
Italian.
an Italian place?
It's
okay,
Italian.
Buca de Beppo, official website of Buca de Beppo.
It's them damn
catering parties
Italians.
Thanksgiving feast. Place your order by November 26th and receive 10% off, guys.
I would not suggest ordering Thanksgiving from Buca de Beppo. They
Anyways,
specialize in spaghetti. Okay, anyway. 12-team dynasty
12-team.
rebuild. Traded
Yeah.
Tracy and 2 firsts for Jonathan Taylor. That's a bit wait, if you're rebuilding, I'm assuming you got Tracy and 2 firsts. That is the side I prefer regardless of if you're rebuilding or not. Full transparency.
Yeah, I agree.
Love this class. I love the running backs in this class. I have finished scouting Judkins, Amarion Hampton, Ashton
He
Genty.
said no. Oh no.
I am still
Sorry,
working
dude.
my way through the rest of the class. But I plan on having a video for you guys about the running backs in not this week, but the week after. Or not next week, but the week after that. Anyway, I'm scouting the entire class, and I really like this class in 2025. And
Yeah.
I mean, you have potentially 3 to 5 guys who could be as valuable as Jonathan Taylor if
Yeah,
things
that's
go
kind
right
of-
for them. There's most likely
that's-
only going to be one that is as valuable as him, but there's a possibility that there's 3 to 5. And yeah, I don't love the move. I don't love the move of sending. I think JT's worth maybe an early first at most. So to send Tracy and 2 firsts, I think is just a bit of an overpay.
And to give you the context for that, by the way, which that kind of did, is it's just because of the class. I think if you go to a weak running back class, maybe JT last year was probably worth that, right?
Yeah.
Sure. But the context of this class and how deep the class is, the running back, at least the running back outlook could really get flipped on his upside down because of how many good running backs are coming into this class, or how many teams that we thought are lead backs could now be committee backs. That's how crazy this could be. I'm not saying that's going to happen to Jonathan Taylor, but
It won't happen to Jonathan Taylor. No.
yeah, I'm just basically saying I definitely want the first, because you can have 2 starting running backs in this class, but you just got Jonathan Taylor essentially. But
There's also a chance that Tracy has more competition next year, so
Yep.
that's something to consider. But let's just say that's the 106 and the 108. I mean, I think you could have potentially sent away 3 startable running backs, which is very hard to find in Dynasty right now. And rest of season, I do want Tyrone Tracy in redraft, I do want Jonathan Taylor in redraft. But could I bet my house on him outscoring Tyrone Tracy? No, I couldn't do that. Not with the schedule Tyrone Tracy has rest of season. So, Buka, it sounds like you bought JT. I'm sorry if that's the case. I'm sorry this is probably not what you want to hear. But what I will say is, when you come to our channel, you will get honesty. You will get transparency. And that's all we can offer.
yeah,
And I'm
it's
sorry.
okay. I don't look at the end of
I'm
the day.
sorry
I
if
don't
it's
think
not what
the
you
end-
wanted to hear.
I would just say this as well to give you some light at the end of the tunnel. At the end of the day, it's not a terrible trade. Sorry, at the end of the day, JT is not somebody. It's not like he's a bum. I think you can still get value. You're probably not gonna get two first for JT going into next year when people understand the context.
And a starting running back.
And a starting running back.
A young starting running back.
I think like JT, if he does, let's just say he finishes as a top 5 running back, if that is possible this year for the rest of the season, maybe, just trying to give you some light at the end of the tunnel, maybe you can get that back. But they really have to love Jonathan Taylor. Anyways,
that's one of those questions you probably should submit on the site before you hit accept. Safe and sound with the next donation, Shakir or Mooney this week?
Sorry, I'm just reading. Apparently, Adam Schefter, Seahawks had the plan to draft both Deebo Samuel and DK Metcalf in the second round of the 2019 draft. Why is that coming out now?
Because they're facing each other, so they thought it, they thought it might be a cool thing, I guess, to tell people maybe.
The deal fizzled out between Seattle.
By the way,
before Seattle pulled it off.
Mooney this year is playing 40% in the slot, about 57% out wide. So he's not strictly an outside player.
No, he gets moved around.
They do move him in the slot, and it's
100%.
funny because he and London pretty much have the same, like, both are playing about 40% in the slot this year.
Talk me up, man. Talk me up. Darnell Money Mooney.
Is that your answer?
Yeah, 100%. No question.
Yeah,
is that your answer?
They're back to back in my rankings. I just think Shakir's more needed.
I need to find where I said to go get Darnell Mooney in Dynasty, because my goodness.
I think Mooney is. Look, Shakir hasn't had a touchdown since week 3. I'll go Mooney. I'll go Mooney with you. That's a tough one. I had Mooney ahead of Shakir in my rankings before this question. They're back to back. I'll stick with Mooney. That's tough. Travis says flex Tillman or Shakir. I will go Tillman there. I'm pretty confident.
I'm going Tillman as well.
For me with Tillman, it's like until he proves you can't start him, you should. At this point, like he's the wide receiver 2 on a points per game basis since week 7. So until he shows you shouldn't start him, you should start him. Brent Shin. It sounds like the name of like an anchor, like a news anchor. I'm Brent Shin. Let's talk about the weather. Got offered Cook and McConkey for Aaron Jones and Harrison. What do you think about that trade? Looking to diversify because I have Jefferson too. So they would be a hard pass. Hard pass.
James Cook and McConkey for Aaron Jones and Harrison. Yeah,
I prefer Marvin over McConkey rest of season. I prefer Jones over Cook rest of season. But I would say Jones and Cook are about a straight swap as it gets. But I think you're definitely downgrading at wide receiver. And I love Lad McConkey. So I get you want to diversify because you have Jefferson. And last week would have been tough with what happened to that offense. But I don't like downgrading and not upgrading somewhere else.
I agree. I completely agree. Appreciate you. We buy homes near you. He says non-PPR must win. Start Dawson Knox or Taysom Hill. In a standard league, I want Taysom Hill because he has rushing opportunity.
Yeah, I'll go Taysom. He has a better chance at a touchdown, in my opinion. That's what you're really asking yourself. And Taysom's been used on the goal line as a running back. There's no receptions involved in this decision. So, yeah, I agree with you. By the way, I just want to quickly because Danny's trying to submit a question through the site. I'll just quickly give you a tutorial. First off, there's a link in the chat that will send you, it's the pinned comment. All right, it'll send you to the website that looks exactly like this. All right, once you get there, you can choose what you'd like to do. But before you do that, I would really suggest to get a free account first. So if you haven't created a free account on the Flock Fantasy website, use our promo code LAND. I just put a link in the chat, give you a direct link to sign up. It should auto enter our code, the promo code LAND, L-A-N-D. When you sign up for a free account with our promo code, you get rankings, the calculator, and the team analyzer for free. And then once you link up your team here in the My Team section, it is very easy to go through. And let's say you want to do a start sit, it'll automatically enter your settings once you're all linked up. and then you go position by position. Tell us who's locked in, and tell us who you're considering at every position, and we'll be able to have the full context of your team. Hopefully that helps, guys. Let's get back to these super chats, though.
Yeah, safe and sound. He said Najee Harris or Javonte Williams RB2. I know. I'm going Najee Harris here.
Javonte Williams is borderline droppable. Like, if I was in a 10-team league, I wouldn't even roster him.
Yeah. Look, it's tough, but yeah, Najee Harris he's still gonna get the opportunities. I know he was dealing with the injuries, but he's off the injury report apparently now, so he's gonna it looks like he's gonna be a full go going into this week.
If you're a Najee Harris owner, you are definitely hoping that that Jaylen Warren misses this game. We do have a question through the site. So we always prioritize these website questions. Anthony says, help, Tillman starting, help all around flex. All right, so they're starting Jalen Hurts. They already started him.
Yeah.
Well, you got to start Jonathan Taylor over Audric Estime. Yeah. At wide receiver, they're choosing between Pop Douglas, Jameson, Tank Dell.
I'm going Tank Dell there.
Yeah, I think Tank Dell's probably your best option. And then I was going to say, like, how much will Tank be needed versus the Cowboys, but how much will Jameson be needed versus the Jags is the other question. So I'll go Hawkinson here at tight end, and at the flex spot, I think Jameson. You probably put Jameson in there and hope for a home run.
Yeah, that's kind of what you're hoping for. If you either hope for the home run or you just get the safe 5. Actually, I would go Evan Ingram.
With Mac Jones?
Yeah, that's fair.
I just don't see any upside. I guess he had 10 points last week. He had 8 targets. Fair enough. I guess that's a safe floor.
I guess I'm just thinking of, like, Mac Jones. This offense is not going to be extravagant. It should just be quick dump passes to Evan. But that could be canceled out with that defense, even though they kind of struggle.
I'll go Jameson, but I get it.
I don't like any of these guys, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Evan Ingram.
By the way, he says Tillman starting. We don't even see Tillman here as an option. Just make sure, guys, when you're going through your start-sit questions, you need to go through each position, right? So, for example, if I know I'm starting Joe Burrow this week, it'll link up my team. But then you need to go through each position and tell us if someone's locked in. So, for example, if I know, like, that these guys are locked in, well, tell us who you're considering at each position, right, as you go through. So we know exactly your entire lineup, what you have at offer, if that makes sense. But anyway, Tillman's a fine starting option. I would start Tillman over Dell and Jameson Williams if you had him as an option. And if you do, I would start Tillman over Dell, and I'd sit Jameson.
I agree.
All right. Back to YouTube, yes?
Yes, Sir Yeti. Oh, gosh. He says, slowly woke up from 7-2 to 7-4. Terry, 1 catch. Hill can't break 12 points, and Austin is hurt. I'm trying. Hey,
Don't get me started, man. I know you're a Commanders fan as well. I went on a rant earlier. That was the saddest performance I've seen from the Commanders in a while, and we were one of the worst teams in the NFL last year. That was disgusting to watch. I'm really, really annoyed by so many things that offense did. I'm annoyed that they had no plan for Terry. I'm annoyed that he wasn't even on the field for most of those drives where they were behind and they could still tie the game. I'm annoyed that they had no layups. It was infuriating. But if you're 7-4 in a fantasy team, you're still pretty much, you're like a favorite to make the playoffs still. So definitely don't give up. There's still plenty of reasons to be excited.
Yeah, I completely agree. Foreskin, he says, Love or Wilson. I'm assuming Love or Russell Wilson. For me, this is Russell Wilson. I have Russell Wilson higher than Jordan Love this week, but I still will start Jordan Love. That's what I would say. Tillman.
I'll go Russell Wilson personally. One of my starts of the week. Love the matchup versus the Ravens. One of the best matchups for quarterbacks and wide receiver combos. Meanwhile, Jordan Love has the worst matchup in fantasy. I know he can overcome it, but I'd rather go Russell Wilson there myself.
And then pick 2, it's Debo and Tillman.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, he says I'm just depressed on the commies. Yeah, wasn't good, but we still have. I still think we're gonna get into the playoffs with the rest of season schedule that we have.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
I think the first game I can say that that was a bad game from us this year. We've played really well every other game.
Yeah, and it's good that you got out the way. Good to get out the way now, because you're just you want that to happen.
I would have rather that loss happen on Sunday though, because I've been thinking about it all weekend.
Sure. It's definitely mental for sure. Like I definitely get. Yeah. I definitely get what you're saying. Anyways, Alberto Lopez, standard pick 1. Jennings, Higgins, Hopkins, Reed, small league, no one trades.
Should be
standard.
Higgins then in standard for me.
Yeah, it would be Higgins in the standard. I completely agree.
Would be Reed in a better matchup, but not in this one. Appreciate you, Danny. I'm pretty sure he was super chatting just to talk about the website. Appreciate you. Big B, unless there's a question I'm not seeing. No, it was just about the website. Big B is next.
Yeah. 12-team super flex, Murray and Young on bye and need 15 to 20 points. Flex upside. Douglas, Christian Watson, Judy, Downs, Mike Williams. I think Josh Downs is the best option here in the flex.
Yeah, I agree with you. Ooh,
I don't think we can trust.
Though.
We can't trust Douglas. We can't trust Watson. I can't trust Mike Williams. But yeah, Judy is interesting.
I think Judy is actually the safest play. I don't think he has the upside that Josh Downs does, but I think Judy's actually a safer play than Josh Downs. Judy is not going to finish this week with 0 points. Josh Downs could. I'm not saying he will, but he could. So if you need safety, I think Judy's a better play. He's averaging around 10 targets per game since Amari's been out of Cleveland. So I think Judy's your safest play, but I think Downs is your highest upside play.
Cleveland. Andrew, thank you so much for the super chat. He says full PPR pick 3 needs Shakira, Higgins, Tyreek, Jennings. So you have Reed, Shakira, Higgins, Tyreek, Jennings. For me, this is Reed, Higgins.
Yeah, I get it.
Tyreek or Jennings. I mean,
or Shakira. I think all 3 of them are in the same tier. Jennings, Tyreek, and Shakira all in the same conversation for me.
Who's needed? Like I think I can write a narrative where like Jennings is needed and Shakira is needed. I don't feel like Tyreek Hill will be needed. If I'm looking at narratives and matchups, if I'm looking at who has the highest upside, Tyreek Hill any given week has the highest upside. Man. I think we need to wait and see with Tyreek. I don't think right now we're just starting Tyreek based off name value.
I feel think like until if you have these options, I don't mind the idea of just waiting to gain more trust, so you won't bust your week. So I don't mind the idea of going a Jennings here.
Yeah, Jennings. I'm happy with Jennings or Shakir personally. I think those two cancel themselves out.
I would not be surprised at all if Tyreek has a blow-up game. He's due for one. I just can't predict it right now. You could definitely consolidate, Andrew, with that roster. You definitely could. Like you could package a Shakir and Tyreek and upgrade somewhere if you wanted to, They also said number 1 wants 2 trades with me. Trade Reed for Tracy. No, I don't like that. Yeah. Reed for Tracy R. Evans. Yeah, I don't like that. All right. Bo's next. Says it's supposed to be a year, but he says wide receiver 2 is Pop, J-Mo, Pearsall, Downs. So Pop is not in play here for me.
It's between Pearsall and Downs. I'm gonna go Downs here.
Yeah.
I think he's just going to get the most targets
Yeah.
out of these two.
I'm honestly fine with that idea as well. We
Next
did
super
just
chat
get a
is-
question through the site, by the way.
Okay. Go
So
ahead.
let's go there first.
We'll come back to YouTube.
Oops, that's the wrong one. Well, it's not actually showing up right now. I thought.
Did we answer that one?
No, we've got one from. I'm pretty sure we have one from someone named Bobby, but it's not showing up for some reason.
I see it on my side.
Okay, yeah, I'm having two that aren't coming up in stream mode. Let me see here. Okay, we're good. My bad. I need to. Okay, here we go. If you have a super chat, don't worry. We will get to it. It's just we always prioritize the website questions first. Ben Cooper, and if you guys want to submit a question to the site, check out the pinned comment. But Ben Cooper with a start sit says down bad this week with Cooper Rush at quarterback too. Yeah,
Oh boy,
that's tough. I feel you. They are. I'm gonna start Chubb over Etienne this week. Hate the matchup for Etienne. I think Dearness Johnson will get involved. Love the matchup for Chubb against the Saints, and he's now 4 weeks since it's come back from the injury. The tight end, I'm gonna go T.J. Hawkinson, and then at the flex, you really do have to choose between Ingram and Etienne. I think Ingram is a safer play.
Yep, I agree.
That's how I'd roll it out. That's a tough one, man. It's a toughie.
I completely agree.
Hope you're facing a rebuilding team this week, because that's some tough decisions to make.
Would you rather start Cooper Rush or Mac Jones? I doubt he'll be available, to be fair, Ben Cooper, but he would rather start Rush. I think I would lean on Mac Jones personally.
Okay. We have a trade question from Bobby Baloney. We have to roster 3 quarterbacks, and I'm not feeling mine. You have to? Okay, it's a 2 quarterback league, maybe super flex. I hate these, like, you have to do this, you can only have this. I hate these little limitations people put on leagues. But anyway.
You look roster 3 quarterbacks, and I'm not feeling mine. So you don't like Anthony Richardson? Give me Geno.
Higgins is the most valuable name in this trade by far. It's not even close.
Yeah, okay.
Not even close. Like, going from Higgins to Johnson is a massive downgrade. Going from Akers to Geno is probably it's a downgrade, but it's not as big of a downgrade as your wide receiver position here.
As the wide receiver, from Higgins to Quinton. Yeah. So I agree. Even though he hasn't been playing, I'm still keeping it.
We know he's injury prone. You know what? I would say a good counter is to. I wouldn't even do this for DJ Moore. I wouldn't even throw DJ Moore in there and do that.
I would take the risk on that one. That's what I would say.
You need to. You would throw DJ Moore in here?
I would take that risk because I feel more confident what Geno Smith is going to be giving me on a week-to-week basis. And with DJ, once again, just thinking of narratives, I'm hoping and believing that he is going to have a better opportunity with Strahan Waldron no longer there.
I can see it. Yeah. Overall, I really don't like this deal. I think what you honestly need to do is improve your running back room. Like, if you're going to send T. Higgins away, then get back James Conner. That feels way more reasonable.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
And, like, okay, can we add in Njoku? No, they have Hawkinson and Kittle. They don't need tight end, but yeah, your running back room needs help, if anything. So, yeah. Hopefully that's helpful, Bobby. Key Joe 19. Joe Burrow, CMC, HN. They are considering London, Myers, Cooper, Pickens. Pickens is the one that I have most confidence in. One of my starts of the week this week. Then we're going to go ahead and say you got to start London. Keep it simple, stupid. We say that to ourselves. KISS. Start your superstars. KISS. I'd start Jacoby over Amari Cooper. And then I would start Bowers over Hawkinson here. So that's how I would roll it out. You agree?
I completely agree. I thought maybe you would go Amari Cooper. But
nah,
I agree.
I like him, but Myers has been so consistent.
Yeah, I'm going to go Myers as well. Appreciate you there, Key Joe.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone else on the slide. I'm just
I
refreshing.
think we have one more, but let me just make sure before we move on to YouTube.
So
It keeps doing this thing where it doesn't refresh.
I just refreshed like 3 times on my end, and I don't see any.
You don't see anything? Okay, well, we'll come back to it if it pops up. All right, John D is the next super chat. Come on home, John B.
Come on, John B. Bring it on home. I think that's my dad ringing the bell. He's been dead for 5 years. Is that him? Anyways,
I stopped watching, bro. It got way too complicated.
I haven't.
It went from like these kids who are like in the Outer Banks and like causing chaos to like, this week we're in Spain. Now we're in Ibiza. It's like, what the? We're traveling the Pacific Ocean. Like, what the fuck is happening? Okay, anyway, start one. Russ Goff Love. For me, this is Russell Wilson.
Russ.
I've been starting Russell Wilson in a lot of areas this week. Love him against the Ravens. It's the best matchup for your quarterback. Start one, Estimate or Pearsall. I'd go Pearsall there in a full PPR.
Yeah, I'm there with you.
Start one, Love or Sam. Is that Jordan Love or Sam Darnold? Is that what you think that is?
I think so. I'm going Jordan Love.
Yeah, I'll go Jordan Love over Darnold.
And then Etienne, Rico, Pollard. I'm going Pollard.
I'll go Pollard as well. I just need to double check who are the Vikings playing this week.
The Vikings are playing the Titans.
Brandy
Hill, senior. 12-team full PPR just traded Love, Pollard, Pearsall for London. So you traded Jordan Love, Tony Pollard, and Ricky Pearsall for London. All were bench players from my team. You had Jalen Hurts, Mixon, Gibbs, Jefferson. Yeah, London will be my flex rest of season.
I like that a lot. Sounds like you're gonna start 7. I would have loved to improve tight end before the playoffs, but we probably don't have the depth to do that anymore.
Yeah, I think that is interesting.
But that's outside of tight end. That's a really nice squad.
That is crazy. Yeah, I agree. I like it. I like it a lot.
Overall, love the move. Just wish we had the depth to improve tight end. But maybe you have some other names you can attach to Kincaid to upgrade Hawkinson or something. But overall, I really like it, Brandy. All right. We have been live. How many minutes now? It's about an hour and 92 minutes, about an hour and a half. So here's what we'll do. We will answer. What do you want to do? Let's be generous today. We'll answer 7 questions at random.
Whoa! Oh my gosh, dude, that's a lot.
And they say we're not generous.
We're not generous. 7 questions. Who's the lucky 7, huh?
Let me show some generosity today. We'll answer 7 questions at random. Any questions that get put through the website or super chatted will get prioritized. And before we answer those 7 questions at random, we have a guaranteed response we'll give to Danny, who just submitted a question through the website.
Appreciate you.
But again, get your questions in because we'll answer 7 at random. Danny here, and I'm glad you were able to sort it all out, Danny. I'm glad we've got you over here on the site. He says, I think I got it right. What do you guys think? It's a 12-team start 7. He's starting Lamar Jackson, which is great. He's got Kareem Hunt. This is Kareem Hunt's swan song, my friend. I don't mind it. Love him this week. Juwan Jennings, T. Higgins, Dallas Goedert. So I assume you started Goddard on Thursday night. You could have started Ertz. I believe I had that question before Thursday night, and I went Ertz, but we can't really go back and change history anyway. Holy shit. Do you know Zach Ertz is a tight end 6 on the season?
I did not know that.
I didn't make that up. That's crazy.
Zachary Ertz.
So, Monty at the flex spot. You can't start Evans. Mooney is an option here. Najee is an option here. Swift is an option here. I love Montgomery versus the Jags. I would definitely start him. Love T. Higgins this week. I guess the only question is really wide receiver. Like, are you starting Juwan Jennings, Mooney, or Downs?
Look, I'm still going Darnell Mooney. I know it's a tough matchup. I know a lot of people are scared of Patrick Surtain. I know he's been playing on the outside. He also plays in the slot. I just think he is... If I had to argue this, I personally think this matchup is just as tough as the 49ers and Seahawks with the Falcons and the Broncos. Both of these teams are going to need to score. Are they going to score? No idea, but I know they're going to move the ball, and they love to move the ball with Darnell Mooney. I just trust him from what we've seen. He's a top 8 wide receiver. I mean, how do you sit a top 10 wide receiver?
I think if Juwan Jennings was
Jennings,
named Brandon
personally.
Ayuk, we would label him a must start. This is what's tough for me right now. Like if Juwan Jennings' name was Brandon Ayuk, no one would sit him anywhere. 11 targets, 7 catches, 93 yards versus Tampa Bay last week. But you can make the same case for Mooney. If Mooney's name was Drake London, he'd be a must start every week as well. I got these guys back to back. I have no strong conviction on one or the other. They both have difficult matchups. Well, Juwan actually has a better matchup, I'd say.
Is there any weather implications here? I mean, I'm just trying to find tiebreakers, to be completely honest
I know,
with you.
same.
Let's see. Broncos, clear sunny skies, and the 49ers are playing at home, so clear sunny skies as well. So
Yeah.
that doesn't really do anything. I think I'm just going to go with what I've seen so far.
Here. Yeah.
I mean, top 8 wide receiver right now, which sounds crazy, averaging 14.4 fantasy points. Maybe he doesn't get you 14 points. Maybe he gets you 8 points. Is that going to kill your team with the way your lineup right now? I don't know. But I'm just going to go from what I've seen so far this year.
I'm going to ride with Mooney as well. And the reason is just trying to find tiebreakers. There's so many weapons in San Francisco now that, that could be a reason that Juwan doesn't perform, but I just think he's going to be so good. I'll go Mooney with you though.
Yeah.
We did get another question from CRB56 to start sit. He says undecided at wide receiver 2 and flex. Hart says CD, but I don't know. All right, so at QB they've got Hurts, then they've got Mixon, Kyron, Pickens. At wide receiver 2,
boy.
this is
Oh, boy.
wow.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not even thinking about CeeDee Lamb with these options.
no. This is Mooney, DK, Debo. I guess you can throw Jennings in there as well.
I'll go DK first.
Yeah,
and then
I think confirm DK.
I'd flex Debo, I think.
Yeah, you get into that matchup. I agree.
You
I
have
agree.
got to consolidate, man.
I don't even know how he can't consolidate. 10 team start 7. He has TJ and Cade. How do you get better from Joe Mixon and Kyron? Like you either
consolidate with your wide receiver room. You package CD and Mooney. You package CD and Jennings. You package CD and Debo, and whatever players you use, however they're valued, you can go higher and higher a tier at wide receiver. You could maybe do that 2 times. You package, like you might be able to upgrade twice at wide receiver, but it'll be really frustrating for CRB here if Juwan Jennings has another game and Debo's mediocre. But I just can't sit Debo Samuel. I just can't do it. So that's our answer there. That's a tough one. That really is. I think that's all the questions to the site. Let me just double check before we go to YouTube. Yes, it is. Okay. So, UT, I use expected fantasy points in research. I don't use it in projecting like a week, but I use it in research for content. Safe and Sound here with the donation says flex Downs, Mooney, Shakir, Judy. They're starting Amon-Ra and Flowers. This would be Mooney for us.
Yeah.
Tough one though. You got a lot of similar options. All right. I said I'd answer 7 questions. I said we'd answer 7 questions at random. And we're going to answer 7 questions at random now. All right. Unless there's any super chats or things that come up through the website. So at random, let's start off with, let's do It's Colo.
It's Colo.
I like the sound of that.
Start Tillman or really at wide receiver 2. I'm going Calvin Ridley.
Wow, I didn't realize how tough that was. I wish I didn't choose this question now. I'll go Tillman. I love both of these options. but I trust Jameis to sling it all day.
Sure.
I just trust him a little more. And should I go with Swift at the flex? I'd start Ridley and Tillman over Swift this week. Myers, Tillman, Brooks. I'd start Tillman and Ridley over Swift.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. If there's somebody I am concerned about in this offense without Shane Waldron, this offensive core, it's the new play caller. The Swift just go not bye, but not get as many opportunities as they hope because they want to get Caleb in the rhythm and throwing the ball. That's going to be interesting. At least that's a narrative that I'm thinking in my own head. But we got to wait and see what that looks like.
All right, that's 1 out of 7. Don't say we don't do anything nice. All right, 7 questions at random here to end the stream. Number 2, I'm going to go to Big Fat Sigma. If you're going to spam it in the chat, I'll be honest with you, it makes me not want to answer your question.
I actually don't want to. I don't want to answer his question. I don't want to.
Please stop spamming. Maybe I'll change my mind if you stop.
I don't want to
spamming.
know.
Raider says Tank Dell or Darnell Mooney. I want to find the people who are patient, who are, willing to just wait. They put their question in there and they're not spamming. Raider, Dell or Mooney? What do you think here? I'm going to go Darnell Mooney.
I agree. Darnell
I'd love
Mooney.
to see Tank Dell look good alongside Nico Collins, but we got to see that first, I think.
I agree.
All right, let's go Charlie Green here. This is 3 out of 7 at random. Start
on,
Stroud,
Charlie.
Darnold, or Carr. This would be Stroud for me this week as he gets back Nico Collins.
Nico Collins. Yep. I agree. Playing the Dallas Cowboys away technically, but this should be an easy game for the crew.
Yeah, that is 3 out of 7 at random today. All right, I want to find a name I haven't spoken to before. For example, Adam A123. This is 4 out of 7. And Adam A says Njoku or Hawk rest of season and this week. Hawkinson rest of season. This week is tough. I love Hawkinson's schedule rest of season. He's not even a full player just yet. I would go Njoku this week and Hawkinson rest of season.
Yeah, I agree. I will concur with you there.
All right. That was 4 out of 7. I do see a super chat. Let's just get through these free questions first before we do that super chat. We'll end on the super chat. That's 4 out of 7. Let's go 5 out of 7 with Dylan, who asked Kraft, Pitts, or Knox. I should start looking at the questions because I don't want to answer the hard ones. I have no idea.
I'm just gonna go Tucker Kraft here.
Yeah, versus Chicago. Yeah, I'll go Tucker Kraft too. I think he has a better chance to score a touchdown.
Yeah, I just think it just feels better. It's tough. I mean, look, it's a tough defense for both. I'm really considering between Knox and Kraft. Sorry, Kraft and Pitts is not. I'm not gonna be starting Knox.
Yeah.
Just give me Tucker Kraft.
All right, that is that 4 out of 7?
5 for 7. That's 5 for 7.
Yeah, that's 5 out of 7. All right.
5 for 7 here.
Let's go 6 out of 7 with Michael, who says, I got offered JJ for Kyron. Would you accept? I think that's about as even as it gets. And depending on your team needs, I could go either way.
Yep, I'm with you.
That was 6 out of 7?
6 out of 7.
All right.
6
This
for
is
7.
the last free one to end today, and then we'll end with the super chat. It's so hard, guys. I can't answer everybody's questions, unfortunately, but
6 for 7.
let's go with the Ramblin' Man. Trade Stevenson and Sutton for James Conner.
Trade
Mooney.
Ramondre Stevenson and Sutton for James Conner. I would say trade Stevenson and Sutton for James Conner. I would do that.
Sutton just looks like a potential league winner. I love his schedule rest of season as well. In the playoffs, he gets the Colts, the Chargers, which is tough, and then the Bengals. Really like that.
My next question would be:
can you make it a 2 for 2 where like you get something else in return?
Yeah, that's exactly what I say. What else can you get in return for James Conner
Like
or for
Jennings.
sure? Like how far? Yeah, can you get something like that?
Amari Cooper, Addison,
Something in return.
Brian Thomas. I don't know. All right, and we'll end on this super chat here. Appreciate everybody for hanging out, and you know we only got so much time. It is Sunday here in Australia. We got to go spend some time with our family. But if you do need your question answered, you can check out our website. You can reach us at any time there. We'll be answering questions all the way up until kickoff. But rolling with my homies. Last one of the
Appreciate
day
you, man.
with the
How you
super
doing?
chat says 12-man PPR, pick 3 for wide receiver and a flex. Kareem, Jones, Hopkins, Pollard, Higgins, and Metcalf. So we need 3 wide receivers, 1 flex. I'm starting Metcalf. I'm starting Higgins.
Yep.
Well,
you only
if you
gave
need
us 3
3
wide receivers. You got 3.
Okay, no, you know what? He didn't specify. I just think he says he needs 3 total players. We
Pick
don't know
3
how
for
many
wide
needs
receiver.
to be.
Sure, pick 3 for wide receiver.
Let's assume
and
2
flex.
have to be wide receivers. So Metcalf, Higgins, and let's choose another name. For me, it's between
Aaron Jones.
Hunt and Jones. And you're going Aaron?
Yeah, I'm going Aaron.
Yeah, I think that's where I lean too.
It's a tough matchup technically against the Titans, but it's just he's on the better offense. I mean, hold on, let me just Kareem Hunt against the Bills.
I'm not so sure I would go Aaron Jones here. I think I'm going to go Kareem Hunt. They're back-to-back in my rankings. I really don't like the matchup against Tennessee. Aaron Jones can pop off any week. You have to know that. And if anyone's going to have like this explosive, dynamic pop-off week, it's Aaron Jones. But Kareem is like this sludge it out goal line threat. I'll lean Aaron Jones here, but it's so close. And you're definitely a team that could consolidate with a trade, a 2-for-1 deal. All right. Last super chat here from Marinda. JMO or Josh Downs? I think Downs is your safety play. JMO's your upside. Ultimately, I couldn't tell you exactly who is the best name there, but I'll go Josh Downs myself this week. Yeah. He seems like the safest Colts receiver.
I completely agree with Anthony Richardson back. Whoa, they're about to make a name for themselves, huh?
I don't know. Probably not.
I don't think anyone's gonna agree with me there because I don't agree with myself. So
we appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out this week. Like I said, you can use the pinned comment or it's in the description to ask us a question through the website. We'll answer those at any time, all the way up until kickoff. Last thing I'll say is before Monday Night Football this next week, we will be live on our Dynasty channel announcing some very exciting stuff. So if you haven't subscribed to our Dynasty channel, I will spam it in the chat here as we end today's video. And good luck this week, guys. All love. We appreciate you. We'll see you either Monday. Actually, I'll do the panic video, the panic live stream again this week. People were requesting that, so I'll see you guys before Sunday Night Football for the panic stream, and I'll see you on Monday. We'll see you Monday for the Dynasty stream. All love. See ya.
Love.